Now, tonight's guest is Michelle Jordan, the Executive Director of the, and I want to say it right, the Texas Emergency Services Retirement System. What do we...
I wanted to talk to you about some pending changes that the TESRS board is contemplating, and this is very important. We are having our board meeting in Lubbock following the SFFMA meeting in Lubbock, because we wanted to make sure that as many departments could attend that public hearing as possible, but the purpose of that will be so that members can show up and talk to us about their concerns and ask their questions of the board at that time. But we have an actuarial valuation that is done by statute every 2 years, and that valuation takes into account all of the revenue coming into the system, all of the liabilities for the system based on current membership. And the last valuation that we had, we were not able to amortize our debts over 30 years, which is really the benchmark for a system to be considered actuarially sound. We have currently an infinite actuarial period, which is not what you want. We have a good program, and it does help departments retain and recruit volunteers. It is well thought of by the 3,000 retirees we have and the 4,000 actives that we currently have. But this is a problem that we have to deal with. The Texas Pension Review Board recently conducted a study of the health of pension systems in the state, and they categorized those pension systems by their amortization period, and there are approximately 10 that have an infinite amortization period, and we're one of those. And this report will be provided to the legislature. So again, this is something that we have to deal with. And there were a couple of alternatives that the board considered very carefully, most of which involved reductions to benefits, because that's how you reduce liabilities, after all, is cutting benefits. But we didn't want to do that. We looked for every possible other scenario to not do that, because if you start doing that, then at some point you have to ask yourself, why are we here? Right. What are we administering? And then you reduce the potency of the program and all of the benefits that it brings locally across the state. And volunteer fire service and emergency response services are too important. So we came up with a plan that has 2 parts to it, and I believe it's a comprehensive plan to get this system actuarially sound, and that will actually make us a shining star, and it will do it rather quickly. The first part is the easiest part, and that is to reset the actuarial method of determining liabilities. And without getting too technical, currently, right now, we spread our gains or losses over a period of time, over 5 years. And when 2008 hit, that was very beneficial to be able to spread those losses out and not have to recognize them all at one time. Well, we have made up for those losses, and we currently have quite a bit of funds that are available towards our unfunded liabilities. But in order to access them now, we need to temporarily change our method to, instead of a rolling method, to a market valuation method. That's something that we would do for this actuarial valuation that's coming up. and then in 2 years we would switch it back to the rolling method, because we believe that is the best method for the system. But at this time, because of the cuts we're faced with, and needing to make a change, we felt like it was prudent, and our actuary agrees with us.
Okay.
So that's going to get us part of the way there. The other part, and this is the part that departments will want to talk to us about at the hearing, and we've been talking to them, is there will be a contribution part added to our current contribution structure that is determined by our actuary. So he's going to back into an amount necessary to help us make the system sound. This amount is different than our current contribution because, unlike in the past, our contributions drive annuities, and that's it. This is a part to our contribution that will be for the sole purpose of funding the unfunded liability. It will be a fee that will be required to be paid by the department, and it will be no more than 15% of what they currently pay monthly. And then every 2 years our actuarial valuation will be done, and we'll know what that amount is. Over time we expect it to go down, and so it might be painful, because I know that local funds are never in big supply, but it is necessary to keep the system secure and to make sure that we preserve the program. So that's our plan, and we'd like to hear from anyone that has questions on it. And the board will be voting in June the 11th in Lubbock to make a decision on whether or not to pass that meeting.
And that's
that rule.
You're meeting in conjunction with SFFMA at their conference in Lubbock, or you're meeting in Lubbock because a lot of volunteer firefighters
Exactly.
are going to be
Exactly.
at SFFMA. So if you're at SFFMA, would you like me to tell them to? Would you like folks to show up? And,
Yes, if they are members of our system and they would like to ask questions, then I hope they will come and address the board. If they are not members of the system, I would like for them to come and listen to our board business and feel free to ask questions of the board.
I know we have some people going out there for
Great.
for next week.
That's
so
great. We would love to see you.